Namaste, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Krishna, Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Brothers and sisters, today I want to talk to you about caste discrimination and casteism in the Sanatan Dharma, Hinduism, and the perpetuation of caste within India. So I came across a YouTube video and a YouTube on YouTube comments yesterday about caste discrimination in Hinduism. And what is funny about this, right, and very sad about this, is the people that were talking about the low caste, the outcasts, the untouchables, the Dalits, right? None of them were Hindus. None of them were Hindus, okay? None. They were Sikh, they were Christian, they were socialists, atheists, communists. They were everything but Hindus, okay? And they were basically reinforcing wrong, false belief about Hinduism and Sanatan Dharma, okay? Let me be clear. There has always been a discrimination problem on Sanatan Dharma, but this problem have been made worse by the British, entrenched by the British when they did the first caste census survey after the first War of Independence, right? The Indian Mutiny. They were the one entrenched it. And with the destruction of the education system within Bharat, what the English wanted to make mainstream became mainstream, okay? I have said this before. Caste is not equivalent to Jati or Varna. It is not. Anybody that tells you this is either an idiot or somebody who intends to entrench caste discrimination within Bharat, okay? In South Africa, Mauritius, Fiji, Seychelles, Guyana, Suriname, Trinidad, did I mention Fiji, Kenya, North America, even though most immigrants in North America are England and Holland, to a large extent recent immigrants. Within the Hindu community, the Hindu diaspora, caste is becoming effectively dead, okay, because no one's bringing this issue up. Don't get me wrong, there are still some Hindus that perpetuates this, but that shows their lack of understanding of Sanatan Dharma and Hinduism, okay? I am not denying that casteism doesn't and caste discrimination does not exist. What I'm saying is the greatest perpetrators of this and those who work really hard to ensure that this survives are not the high caste people. In fact, in one of the southern states in India, okay, Dalits are targeted to forced conversion by Muslims based on and telling them that they will not, because the Muslims are the dominant community, and they are actively oppressing Hindus who are low caste or Dalits to convert to Islam or do not access service. And this is happening within India, okay? Which pisses me off, because you always hear about, you know, minority oppression and all of these. But if you go back and you really view whom the people that oppress, if you go back and look at really the ones that oppress the low caste people in Bharat, it's not really the Brahmins or the Kshatriyas and stuff. I'm not saying they're not guilty. I'm saying the vast majority are not them, okay? The vast majority are not them. And if you want to be effective at eliminating or problems an issue, usually you find the 20% that causes 80% of the problem, okay? So I'm telling you, 20% of the people that's responsible for caste discrimination in India are not Hindus, okay? Think about that. Do you know that caste discrimination is perpetuated by Christian missionaries? And this was, in fact, they're the one who actually entrenched this. When they were looking to convert Hindus to Christianity, they could not make any significant breakthroughs. So they looked for fissures within the Hindu community, the Hindu world, the Hindu society. And then they began to equate Jati, or basically your occupation, with your birth status, which is never the case, okay? And because of this, people who were Vaishyas, people who were Kshatriyas, people who were Brahmanas actually became outcasts and low castes overnight, okay? And have remained such, okay? So many of you who are now outcasts and the descendants of people who are outcasts were made and criminalized by English people and missionaries. Look, you know, even the British people that, I forgot their name, and in other videos I'm going to put their name. They have admitted the worst thing we have done to India was to give them the caste system. They have admitted this, okay? In England, in the English Parliament, these are documentation, and that's not done by Indian historian or Hindus. This was done by Christians, Christian missionaries, and the British, I guess, Raj, and it's housed in London. And I guess the English Parliament or the government library in England, okay? And you don't hear this being talked about because it does not serve those who wish to oppress us to talk about it, okay? So my fellow low caste people, I guess, I don't believe in the caste system, okay? I don't believe in it, but it's an imposed fact and a veil that's put over us, so we're gonna have to acknowledge it to address it. But I don't believe in it because caste is not a Hindu concept. Jati is just your job, it's your work, okay? And Varna is the qualities that you are born with, okay? Varna is the qualities that you are born with, okay? And some people are born, they want to be police officers, they want to serve in the military, they want to be government officials, right? They want to be leaders. Not everybody can be a leader, okay? And not everybody born to a leader will become a leader. Not everybody born to a law-abiding citizen will be a law-abiding citizen. Not everyone, okay? Not everyone's gonna be like that, you know? Jati became inherited during the Gupta Empire, and it's not coincidental. This is when standardization, okay, was happening across Bharat, where quality was being transferred from generation to generation, and where guilds, which is the more accurate term for Jati, it's guilds, not caste, okay, guilds, okay, they were being formed and they each worship their own gods, and because of this, because of what they performed their job in reverence to God, in reverence to their Jati, very great quality management became the norm, okay? And quality management, or total quality management, which is a very important program for any world leading organization, has made a comeback with Japan, you know, embracing this, I think it's a statistician or economist, but Japan has an award in his name, the Demon Award. So it's the guy who this award is named after, his last name is Demon, go look it up, who talked about, you know, total quality management. And this was employed by India through the Jati system, okay? And this is why India dominated global trade, because the Jati system, of which the various occupations belong to, took pride in their job and provided and produced quality goods at reasonable rates, at reasonable cost to their customers, okay? So the Jati system is something wonderful. It's just been corrupted, okay? Okay, and we still have that system in place. Like doctors have, you know, guidelines that they need to follow. Accountants have guidelines they need to follow. Electricians have guidelines they need to follow. Carpenters have, if they're being good carpenters, doctors, electricians, they all have it. So now this has made a modern comeback. Okay, it has made a modern comeback. I've spoken about this in numerous videos. That has made a modern comeback, but people are not talking about it because it will destroy their narrative. But this is what the Jati system is. It is not caste. It is not caste. It was about one's occupation, one's career. Okay, it is about one's occupation and one's career. So do not ever take caste to mean Jati and Jati to mean Varna. These are very different things. Okay, some people are business people. Okay, they they love doing business, making money, selling, all of these things. Some people are very skilled, and ironically, the skilled people tend to have some what do you call it, marketing ability. Okay, they tend to be marketing and entrepreneurial as well, because they have to be able to see things that the customer wants, that the people wants. So the Shudras, or the lower caste, are the skilled workers. Okay, they are the knowledge workers. They are the one that took society forward. Okay, because society have started off with just a group of people, then the leaders and shamans emerge, and then the traders emerge, and then the skilled people emerge. So what as you can see, and there is nothing that is going to contradict me. Okay, there is nothing that's going to contradict me. Skilled people, what we would call Sudras now, emerge as human society progressed. So Shudras, the so-called low caste that people are laughing at, and when I say people, I'm talking about those who wish to oppress us, represents an evolution in human society, and an upward evolution, not a regression, but a progression. Okay, so you need to know that. You need to take ownership of this, and you need to know that Sanatan Dharma really does not have outcasts within it, or lower caste, or untouchables within it. Okay, it does not have that. Okay, and I'm going to talk about the emergence of untouchability in Sanatan Dharma, and it did not happen in Sanatan Dharma. It did not happen in Hinduism. Okay, it did not happen. Even Ambedkar, you know, the icon and hero of all Dalits, even he who was so educated, did not realize the fact that it occurred when Hinduism was basically almost non-existent in Bharat. But I will point out to you that untouchability emerged in Japan, South Korea, China, and India around the same time, at the height of Buddhist dominance. Okay? It is no coincidence that it happened in all these societies where Buddhism dominated. And it happened where people, mostly those working in the meat traders, butchers, okay, and later other people were added to it. No hate on Buddhism, please. Buddha did not bring about untouchability. He never did. You know, if you were a leper and you offered him food to eat, he would eat it. So he did not. Okay? So please, I am not hating on Buddhism. I am not hating on Buddhism. But I'm going to lay the fact out where the fact is, where the truth is. I'm laying it out. I already have the, you know, I usually speak from my heart, but I have all this thing documented. I will present a more succinct video on this in the future. But this is a quick video because I've seen people who are trying to promote castes who are not Dalits and who are not Hindus. And I have to fight back against this. Okay? I have to fight back against this because the people who pose as our liberators are the ones who oppress us. Okay? In China, in communist Russia, in North Korea, which is communist, the persons and peoples that talk about being the liberators are the ones who are oppressing others. Okay? Are the ones who are oppressing others. Okay? And they keep people suffering because as long as you're suffering, they get to be your hero. But they do not admit to oppressing us because they blame it on others. Okay, they blame it on others. And this is how I am saying we have to take control of our narratives now. Okay, let me point out something to you. I said people who were high caste or who would have been high caste became low caste overnight. There's a community in Bharat in India. You find them along Varanasi. They're the ones that wash the dead bodies, prepare the dead bodies, and cremate the dead bodies. These people should have been the high caste. They should have been high caste. Okay, they were money handlers. People trust them based on their honesty. They were used to deliver money between communities because of the immense trust and respect that people placed on them. And overnight, the British administration, willing and wanting to tax Indian officials, Indian people, Indian businesses, and the common Indian, the common Hindu, criminalize these people and says these people are criminalized. They were ostracized and removed from society, and they could not find work, and they had to turn to handling dead bodies, working in cremation grounds. These people who should be today's leading bankers, money managers, accountants, and finance experts in Bharat was now criminalized for the rest of their lives. And this evidence can be found in London. Okay? Nobody talks about this today. And let me give credit where credit is due. A Brahmin guy by the name of Pandit Sharma brought this up. Okay? He researched it and he brought it up. Okay? So if you don't think, I am not a Brahmin, I'm one of you. Okay? And people say they're Dalit. Okay? Dalit is not a caste. Dalit is a group that you all create to represent. And even within the Dalit community, there is discrimination against various low caste communities. Okay? So even those of us who, rally against the so-called upper caste, discriminate against our fellow low caste people. I don't do that. I don't discriminate against anybody. I don't believe in the freaking caste system. This is an alien imposition on me, and I am not mentally colonized. Okay, I am not mentally enslaved, so I reject it. Okay, and I'm returning to my Vedic roots, and I want you to join me in our Vedic roots. Okay, the people, our enemies, our oppressors, they are the communists, the socialists, the liberals, the missionaries, those wishing to convert us, and those who wants to be leaders, even members of within our own community, keep us oppressed, because that's the way they can retain power, instead of trying to completely destroy the caste system. Okay? Because the caste system does not belong in Sanatan Dharma. Okay? And it was the Jati system, and even today you see people, based on their occupation, discriminate against others. Okay? This is a fact. You see this in any community, whether they're Muslims, Hindu, Christian, Sikhs, atheists, communists, socialists, it does not matter. Okay? You see this across communities, regardless of religion. So discrimination based on one's occupation is a universal thing. It has always been universal. Okay? And nowadays, people, because of education and social mobility, are now being able to utilize their extreme skills and knowledge about the occupation to rise above, while still remaining there. Like carpenters can now become real estate developers, builders of custom homes, and become millionaires. Cooks can become world-renowned chefs, all of these things. And by the way, do you realize that it's the lower caste positions that is the one that commands the most respect? Do you realize that? Okay? So some of the people who are doing our jobs and who are discriminating against us, they should be punished. Okay? Let's take, I wanted to do a separate video on this, but I'm going to touch on this briefly. Okay? So doctors, every Indian wants their son and daughter to be a doctor. But let's see, what does a doctor do? A doctor deals with sick and dying people, disease, illnesses, death, even dead bodies. They pronounce people dead. Okay? Cut open people, do surgery, all of these things. Things that would be considered impure, untouchable. Right? If there is an occupation that should be an untouchable occupation, trust me, a doctor and a dentist is that. Yet everybody's proud to be a doctor, or if their child is a doctor, their grandchild is a doctor, or their parents is a doctor. Why? They have stolen a Shudra's position, and some of them have the audacity to discriminate against Shudras or outcasts. Okay? Okay? There is no occupation that would be more untouchable than being a doctor. None. Have you ever heard anybody talk about that? Have you seen anybody discriminate against doctors? Have you seen anybody avoid doctors? No, they all run to doctors. If there is an untouchable position, a position that should go to untouchables, an occupation that goes to the bottom caste, those at the very bottom, it will be doctors and dentists. Think about that. You have people stealing our jobs and trying to discriminate against us, and then they pretend to be our champions. This is why I'm putting these videos out. Okay? This is why I'm putting these videos out. Because I know I realize that no one's talking about this. No one's educating themselves. No one's challenging the narrative. Everyone is going by what they have been told. Okay? Ambedkar faced, you all would hate me for saying this, but he failed us. Gandhi, Mohandas Gandhi, whom we wrongly call Mahatma Gandhi, insisted on keeping the caste system. Nehru kept it because it served them. Gandhi kept it because it served them. The Congress Party keeps it because it serves them. Okay? The so-called Samajwadi Party and Bahujan Samaj Party and all these communist and socialist and caste-based party, they keep the caste system going alive because it serves them. Okay? Because it allows them to become rich, it allows them to become elected, and they don't care about us. Okay? They don't care about us. But I care about us. I am one of you. I am one of you. Okay? I am one of you. And I can tell you this. Okay? I can tell you this honestly. My IQ is higher than most people in India or in this world for that matter. I would be in the top 5%. Okay? Not the bottom 95. You know, height-wise, I'm in the top 1%, I guess. Okay? I'm not bad looking. I'm pretty up there in age now. You know, but in my mid-20s, white woman, Asian woman, Arab woman, Indian woman, black woman, they chase me. I still get chased. When I worked in the office, I had women, all these white women, no, there was an Asian woman there, but all these white women and black women crowding around me. Okay? So the caste system is total bullshit. It is total nonsense. Okay? Total nonsense. And I'm here to not just challenge that, but to eradicate and destroy that, because that's an imposition upon us. Okay? Nobody would have known my caste unless I disclose it. And this is a caste that was imposed on me. Okay? So when I say my caste, I'm talking about that which was imposed on me. And I have to revert to this now in order for you to know who I am. So you know why I come to you to fight this discrimination, to fight this burden that has been placed upon us, and to remove this burden from us, and also to uplift us. Okay? We don't need reservation. Believe me, reservation will only help less than 1% of us. My goal is to uplift every one of us, and I will get rid of reservation. You know, our movement will take power in India, and we will be able to do what no others can do. Because we are not bounded by so-called high caste ceiling and, oh, we can do this because we're high caste. And no, I don't care about that nonsense. They cannot accuse me of being a casteist. They cannot do that. Because I don't believe in it. And they can't say I'm pretending because I'm a high caste. Because I'm not high caste. I am not. I was never, according to them, I could never be high caste. But we actually have no caste. That is the truth. We have none. And I'm going back to our Vedic heritage. Okay? I'm going back to our Vedic heritage, pre-caste, where there was no caste system. Okay? And when I say pre-caste system, I'm talking about the Varna system. Okay? Where there was no Varna system. I'm going back to that time. Okay? So, I want you all to reject this thing that was imposed upon us. We need to take control of our destiny. We need to take control of our narrative. And when I said we don't need a handout. We don't need reservation. But we do need school that will cater to us. We don't need to go to reservation to a school that will say to us, oh, you only got in here because we gave you reservation. Okay? We don't want that. School that will cater to us. We need universities that will cater to us. And these schools and universities will be elite and competitive and prepare us for everything. We need the resources to help every one of our members to uplift themselves, to get at that level where they can compete equally with others unfairly. And trust me, nobody can outdo me if the ground is equal and the competition is fair. No one can win against me. Well, except for maybe 1% of the or 2% of the population. But overall, if there was many different competition, overall I would come ahead of it. I will come ahead, okay? Because I'm not just good in math and science. I'm also good in the liberal studies, the social studies. I am fairly good at sports. So if you were to round everything up, eventually I would come on top. But if you were to take specific areas, I would be in the top, say 2% overall. Not overall, but in specific areas, I would be in the top 2%. But combined together, a final tally, I would be maybe the number one. So caste discrimination, being from a so-called low caste, does not mean we're not capable. In fact, I have grown up with people, so-called chamars and nonias and all of them, who in environments where caste was not a factor, people don't know their caste, they just know that their grandfathers and all of these were chamars and nonias and all of them, and they have outperformed academically and athletically their Brahmins, their Kshatriyas and Vaishyas counterparts. Think about that, okay? Think about that. If the playing field is level, we will dominate. One more thing. People say the Hinduism and Sanatana Dharma is against us. This is Kali Yuga. We have been ordained by God to rule Kali Yuga. How is Hinduism against us if you believe in the caste system? Okay? It's not the caste system, it's not Jati, but it's the Varna system actually, right? The Shudras is a part of the Varna system, right? We are ordained by God. We are ordained by God, the Creator Himself, to rule over Kali Yuga, to be the rulers and leaders of Kali Yuga. So how in hell is Hinduism against us when, if you do not allow the Shudras to rise up and rule, you are against Sanatana Dharma? Think about that. It is in the scriptures. Look it up. Remember that. Hindu in Sanatana Dharma in this age, we are at the top. We are supposed to rule this age. And maybe this is why I have been driven, okay? Believe me, all my life I've been fighting against this, wanting to go about living my life. But finally I gave in, I'm starting to do it. But I have always been driven to do this. Always been driven to do this. Okay? Think about that. So, Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism, is not against us. It is actually with us. Okay? It is with us. So please, brothers and sisters, don't think that Sanatana Dharma and Hinduism oppresses you. It is the people who want to rule us and the people who are oppressing us, that is while pretending and blaming it on others, that are our enemies, okay? They are our enemies, and these enemies are also those who are members of our so-called caste, our so-called Varna, okay? So we need to take control of our narrative. Brothers and sisters, be proud to be a member, a follower of Sanatana Dharma. Be proud to be a Hindu. And it is up to us now to take our rightful place at the top of this Hindu hierarchy, if there is one. Okay? If you're going to believe there is one, we are supposed to be at the top, and we are not doing God's command to be at the top and taking the top. If you believe in the caste system, then you must be at the top. You must rise to the top, because this is expected of us in this age of Kali Yuga. In this age of Kali Yuga, we are supposed to be the leaders. We are supposed to be the rulers. Okay? This is our age. So I say to you, we need to take the control of our narrative and our destiny. We need to take this control and rise to the top. Okay? Do not blame others. We are now the ones holding ourselves back. If we tolerate caste oppression and caste discrimination, and we don't fight against it, we're holding ourselves back. If we believe the socialists, communists, liberals, Marxists are missionaries, we're holding ourselves back. No, you say with me, I am proud to be a Shudra because there's no low caste or low caste. Say it. I am proud to be of the Shudra Varna because God, Brahman, have decided that this age belongs to me, and I and us and we will be at the top. Remember that. And if we're at the bottom, then we are either Brahmins, and those who are at the top are actually Sudras masquerading as high caste. Think about that. One or the other. Either we are on the top and we're Shudras and we go to the top, or those who are at the top are Shudras and we who are at the bottom are actually the Brahmins. I mean, it's in the scriptures. So you look it up. Okay? You look it up. It's in the scriptures. Look it up. Okay, brothers and sisters, with this, I'm going to leave now. I will put out another video in the coming future. I will talk about the rise of untouchability. Okay? And this will be academically researched. Even though I will speak from the heart, I will reference materials and time, and I have already done the research. I have it saved. I just need to put it together in a more succinct manner and present it to you. Okay? With this, I take your leave. I say Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Krishna, Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Be proud.